Hello, Mr. Matt back here. We're talking Tinkercad, and we're going to be working a little bit, just a small short video on the Workplane tool. It's an option we've been using in the last few videos, but I think it needs its own treatment, and I wanted to go ahead and do that. I want to just go ahead and create a new design, a new 3D design, and just wanted to showcase the Workplane tool and all the various features and options you have with that Workplane tool. Now in the previous videos, we'll go ahead and put a couple of these objects here to the side. Now we had our first video, we were working with some cubes, and we were using the Workplane tool up here in the top right to select the sides in order for us to fuse shapes together. And we were using that to build a roof. And you remember we were changing the Workplane to the top roof line so that I could go ahead and bring in this roof line and go ahead and stick it right there on the top of the object, and that was super helpful. Sometimes we may have objects that are way off, and we use that awesome D key there with your left hand and are able to drop that shape right onto the top. And that's great. But I just wanted you to know that you can do the Workplane tool with other shapes as well. Let's go ahead and use the cylinder here. And what's really cool is that if you need to use the top of the cylinder, that's great. But there's also the option, based on where you are, to use the various sides of the cylinder. You say, well, Mr. Matt, cylinder doesn't have sides, and you would be correct, except if we look super close here, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see there are sides associated with this cylinder. You can actually see them right here, 1, 2, 3, and they go all the way around, and there's 48 of them right here based on the options within the cylinder. And your Workplane tool, you can use that to place objects on the edge of a cylinder for whatever reason, whatever your design is. Maybe you're doing a character design and you want to go ahead and put some type of nose on the outside of the character, and you can go ahead and change that Workplane there, and you can go ahead and make that nose. We can shrink it down, and you can imagine doing that, and it's right there on the surface of that option. And then you go ahead and start building a character, using from a cylinder, right? And you need to be able to do that. And you can go ahead and use the Workplane tool to find one of those sides that make up that cylinder. This is part of the rendering of the cylinder, so it's not a perfect circle. Now we can increase the number of sides, and it becomes 128. And at that point, it's almost indistinguishable from a perfectly circular cylinder. So I do want you to know that there is that option as well. 25, you can see them there. You can real nice and clear. It's almost like a giant 25-sided polygon there around the edge, masquerading as a cylinder. And then you can either make it higher or lower, and there you go. You have a 12-sided decahedron or dexagon, or whatever, 12-sided polygon there, and then extruded down. So it's no longer a cylinder, it's embodying some other shape. But if you increase that number, it becomes more circular. But even then, there's still 128 sides, and you can see you can place the Workplane along those small individual little sides that make up that cylinder. Same thing here with our cylinder, our sphere. You can see all the little surfaces there that are rendered from our sphere, and again, we can change that here with the steps. Now that's almost like a coconut. If you've ever seen like a coconut carved up, kind of looks like that. Let's go ahead and push that out to maybe 36 or 38, 40, and again, if we choose the Workplane tool, you can see it's selecting any of those little things. So don't think you can't place objects onto rounded objects like a sphere or a cylinder. Inside Tinkercad, they are rendered with this kind of like a loose rendering options here, having these little surface and little pieces. Now, if you printed this, it would look almost perfectly spherical, especially if you push out the steps to about 64. But I do want you to know that you can place your Workplane tool on any shape. And again, same thing here with our half cylinder. It has the various steps here. And again, your Workplane tool can be, see how every time I hit a new line there, it kind of moves and twists and turns and finds that edge. So do be aware that that is an option for any of the shapes that you have. If we have, say, like a pyramid here, obviously this is a smooth surface right here, but you can also increase the number of sides until it looks like almost like a cone top here, or you can decrease the number of sides, whatever you are looking for, whatever your design desires, and then the respective sides can be used as the work plane. So depending on how you want to attach objects and build shapes and build solutions when you're designing, that is an option for you. And I just want you to be aware of that when you are designing whatever we have to do in our class, that the work plane there is your friend, and I want you to go ahead and use that. It's one of the easiest ways for you to kind of fuse two shapes together and ensure that they are on the same work plane and they are attached and essentially fused together, allowing you to group objects, allowing you to place and then align objects correctly. It is one of the easiest ways for you to do that.